Falcons family, what is the good word? Thanks again for tuning in and subscribing to Falcons Daily. I'm CG, Craig Green. I am your host, and it is a Thursday. Appreciate all of you checking out today's episode. Let's talk about some trade rumors. Let's bring up a player that some of you may or may not know. This player is from the Cincinnati Bengals. He plays inside linebacker. His name is Germaine Pratt. He is a veteran of the game. Germaine Pratt is a guy who has an official trade request with the Cincinnati Bengals. The Falcons have a somewhat of a glaring hole, in my opinion, at inside linebacker. Could we see a marriage between Germaine Pratt and the Falcons? Again, Germaine Pratt, just for some of you who haven't kept up with him from last season, again, Cincinnati Bengals inside linebacker, played under the scheme of Lou Anarumo, who is no longer the DC in Cincinnati, but however, that was the same DC that was there when Jesse Bates played for the Bengals. But Germaine Pratt, last season, Pratt had 143 tackles, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles. Again, his former DC now is in Indianapolis. So would the Bengals trade him in conference to a conference team? The advantage of trading him to the Falcons would be that the Falcons would not play the Bengals this season, so that'd be one good look for them. But again, I think, is it possible that Germaine Pratt could find himself in Atlanta? Don't know right now. It's not very likely, but it is something that you could chew on and marinate over. Again, there's new draftees in Cincinnati. They did draft a couple of guys to play linebacker. Demetrius Knight, Barrett Carter are guys that have been traded, that were drafted by the Bengals. And Germaine Pratt, feels like he may be on the outside looking in. He's made an official trade request. The Bengals have not, fulfilled that request for him. He still remains a Bengal, but a disgruntled one at that. So I think Germaine Pratt could be a good fit for the Falcons. Again, he'd have an instant friend in Jesse Bates on the defense. You could see what he would be able to do in the Jeff Ulbrich scheme. Again, inside linebacker to me is a spot where we're kind of weak. We do have, of course, Caden Ellis as your starter. Behind him, Troy Anderson, J.D. Bertrand, and then you could throw guys like Divine Diablo and even Jalen Walker in certain situations in the mix at middle linebacker or inside linebacker, that is. So I think a guy like Germaine Pratt would really solidify the depth of the Falcons defense, but that would also put guys like Troy Anderson or even J.D. Bertrand on the outside looking in. So, one thing that the Falcons do believe in, and that's Terry Fontenot himself, the GM, he believes in adding strength on strength. So, that's why we have the quarterbacks we have. That's why we have the running backs we have, and more on that in a little bit. But Germaine Pratt to ATL feels like it's something that could happen, a better chance of that than Shamar Stewart coming to the Falcons, but I still think the chances are pretty slim. All right, guys, I want to go to a comment that I saw from yesterday's video. Tommy V1477 was asking about Cobee Bryant and wanted to chop it up about Cobee and what's his outlook for 2025. So in terms of Cobee Bryant, he's a pretty famous guy in terms of his social media followers. Got over 233,000 followers on social media. I believe that's all on TikTok, either TikTok or Instagram, one of them. But anyway, he's a pretty popular dude, played for the Kansas Jayhawks, in college, one of the first player in the history of the Big 12. The first Kansas player in the history of the Big 12 to earn first team all conference in 3 straight seasons. That's what Cobee's done. He's grown himself a small legend as well, like I said, at Kansas. And again, his Instagram followers well over 200,000. So he's a pretty popular guy. The Hawk Mamba, Cobee Bryant. Can he turn his fame that he's got already from college and from social media into NFL fortune? If he stays the course where he's at right now and continues to do the things that he's been doing, Yes, Cobee Bryant is going to be an undrafted free agent that turns into one of those diamonds in the rough, one of those guys that the Falcons can count on, can plug in certain situations. And the best part about it for the Falcons brass, right now, you're not paying him a lot of money. So if Cobee can channel everything he's doing on Instagram and everything he did at Kansas, translate that here into training camp, we're really going to like the depth that we have at cornerback. And chiming in on Cobee Bryant was the Falcons secondary coach, Justin Hood. Justin Hood had to say about Cobee. He said he's good in man-to-man. He's good when the ball's in the air. You really like what he brings in the game, his mentality. And yes, Cobee is a guy who is a cerebral player who has grabbed a lot of interceptions over his time with the Jayhawks. And he is a ball hawk, a Jayhawk and a ball hawk. But he's got that new Hawk Mamba chain. He's really feeling himself. So, again, can the Hawk Mamba turn fame into fortune in Atlanta? I mean, heck, he's in one of the right cities to do it. But the number one thing Falcons fans want to see and the city of Atlanta wants to see, you got to back up your talk and all that with performance on the field. Roster moves Falcons have made, guys. We added a running back and lost a running back in a corresponding move. We've added Jashawn Corbin, the UFL's leading rusher. He's now with the Atlanta Falcons and playing for them. He was on the San Antonio Brahmas, and now he's in Flowery Branch. And in a corresponding move, we let Jace McClellan go. That was a Falcons draft pick from last year, 2024. Jace couldn't stay healthy, and again, Falcons decided he was expendable. So the Jace McClellan experiment's over. You never know. Maybe he comes back as a practice squad guy or something. Don't know at this point, but again, we talked about adding strength on strength, and that is what the Falcons seem to be doing here. You've already got Bijan Robinson. You've already got Tyler Algier. Now you've added Jashawn Corbin into the mix as well. So now you've got three capable running backs who can carry the rock for the Falcons in any situation. Now it's a long road for Jashawn to make the team, but it's going to start in training camp in a few weeks. Actually starts right now. Just stay healthy, get your nose in the playbook, and then we'll see you in 4 weeks down the road. Falcons family, make sure you leave us comments and also any questions or concerns in the comments, just like Tommy V1477 did. And we'll most likely read it on the air here, and we'll find the best ones and we'll turn them into points of discussion, things that we can chop up and talk here with all of our Falcons family about. All of your comments, please leave them here for me, and we'll go back and take a look. And like I said, we'll pluck the best ones. No pun intended. Maybe there was a pun intended because you pluck feathers. But again, please leave comments for us. Also, number one thing I would love for you guys to do also is hit the subscribe button as well. Hit the subscribe button. Also give Fan Arch Co. a follow. FANARCHCO on social media, and myself as well, Craig G Sports, CRAIG, the letter G in the word sports. And please put on your notifications so when we drop new content for you here on Falcons Daily, you will be the first to know. You'll get that little ding in your pocket, the little vibration, and you already know it's time to open up YouTube. All right, y'all, have a great rest of your Thursday. Have a good Juneteenth as well, and we'll chop it up with you on Falcons Friday. Sayonara and buenos noches.